Brand building now, because of AI indexing, is imperative for the future of any professional. ChatGPT, should I work with this guy, Joseph, or should I work with this guy, Sam? Well,
Yeah,
Joseph has a huge social following. He's a comedian. He's got a big brand. Everyone knows him. Everyone likes him. And then this other guy's like, this guy, we don't know who this guy is. Or this
yeah.
guy, has a couple reviews, but there's nothing, there's no data on him. Because I talk about branding and I use that analogy all the time. Like, the writing's on the wall for my industry that if people don't establish a personal brand the next 24 months, they're not going to be in the business. My daughter's 11. She's a better editor than any editor I can hire,
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So kids realize this now, like adults should too.
Well, and guys, help me welcome the one and only Joseph Shalaby. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's really cool. I've been excited about the conversation for a while. One of the things that I've sensed in the marketplace is drastically changing. And one of my good friends, Rory Vaden, obviously spends a lot of time in this, is the need for the establishing of the creation of and the authenticity of building a personal brand. And I know I want to start there. I know you're doing a lot of amazing things. Obviously, you've got millions of followers on social, got amazing, you've already had one amazing book, you had another amazing book coming out, you got all these different things working. But it's not often you get to see somebody who actually built a personal brand from scratch to the level in which you have. So maybe take us down a little bit of deep dive of what you see that's working in the marketplace versus what you see that's not.
So I'm going around stage to stage speaking about the importance of brand development, not so much for just having a personal brand, more so that if a client doesn't know you,
Hmm.
AI, and now their decision is based on, does the AI recognize this person? Does the AI think I should work with this person? Then
Hmm.
the client's going to work with you, because in the mortgage space, when someone wants to decide if they're going to do a mortgage, the biggest decision of their life, right
Hmm.
now they're doing due diligence, they're going on Google, yada yada, they're checking your reviews. Now what they're going to do, or they're already doing, is they're saying, ChatGPT, should I work with this guy, Joseph, or should I work with this guy, Sam? Well,
Yeah.
Joseph a huge social following. He's a comedian. He's got a big brand. Everyone knows him. Everyone likes him. And he's got tons of reviews, and it just gives him a whole profile. And then this other guy's like, this guy, we don't know who this guy is. Or this
Yeah.
guy, has a couple reviews, but there's nothing, there's no data on him. So brand building now, because of AI indexing, is imperative for the future of any professional, not just mortgage, not real estate, not anything. Brand building is congruent with AI. It's just
Hmm.
it's part of AI.
Yeah.
So it's not a something that's you should think about doing. It's
Yeah.
something that's absolutely necessary to do for whatever profession you have, because we all asked for it. Everybody wanted ease with AI.
Hmm.
Guess what? You got ease. But now AI is your deciding factor. Now it only has data that it pulls from social media platforms, that it pulls
Hmm.
from online platforms, that it pulls from all the different websites, and it can make a very, very elaborate decision, not just
Hmm.
on one website. That's why you have to be on every platform.
Hmm.
You got to be
Well,
everywhere.
so one of the things I heard, I think it was this maybe 2 weeks ago, is that the vast majority of the population, or I'd say population, those that would rank themselves doing Google search, you normally pop on and do a Google search and you say, hey, what's the best painter in my area? What's the best, place to get my nails done or buy a car or any number of things. They're now not really going to search engines. They're actually going to the AI tools, which I think is what you're referring to with AI indexing. So for those who haven't heard the term, maybe break down what AI indexing is, since AI is such a new thing for so many people.
So it's just the same thing like Google indexing. Google now, when you it's SEO via AI. So
Mhm.
now all of the it's a combination of all of the search engines basically running a concurrent search and then giving a summarized data of all your data points.
Mhm.
So it's like it'll give you very, very elaborate data on what specifically you're looking for. So, is Joseph a great mortgage professional? Based on all the data I ran, Joseph is a great mortgage professional. He's done tons of mortgages, has tons of happy customers. He's also very well liked in the community, yada yada. So
Mhm.
it aggregates all of the data points. It doesn't just use one platform. It leverages every single platform, from Instagram to X to Facebook to LinkedIn to YouTube
Mhm.
to, can you imagine how to Reddit, all cha- um OpenAI pays all of the platforms an exorbitant amount of money to use their engines.
Hmm.
So it's aggregating across every single platform. So that's why, you got to make sure obviously you have a great reputation, but there can't be any blemishes on
Yeah.
any sites, right? It's gonna index that, it's gonna pull that, and it's gonna give that consumer that data point.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's a
yeah, go ahead.
combination of everything. That's all it is. It's everything now, and it's imperative that your brand is established, and
Hmm.
and you try to preserve it as much as you possibly can.
So let's take out the AI indexing piece. If the AI tool itself is going out and searching the web, all right, pulling that data in, reconciling the data, filtering it through it, trying to discern, what is truth versus what is false. How does someone, especially come out of the gate nowadays, build a personal brand using the tool AI when it sounds like the indexing is still being pulled from the web? So do you need to go out to the web and go ahead and make sure that the web is super dialed in so when it does go to index, or is there a certain way in which you could, have an AI tool suggest you over a different professional or things of that nature?
No, no. The way it pulls is you have to just start creating content. That's it.
Hmm.
Oh, there's no magic recipe. There isn't. This is kind of like working out. Like, can I just take
Hmm.
a pill and just be
Yeah.
ripped?
Yeah.
Like, no, you could take a pill, but you have to do a bunch of other stuff. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
then my supplement stack in the morning is like a handful of pills, and then I work
Hmm.
out, like,
Yeah.
and then I have to make sure my nutrition's dialed. Like, there is no magic pill. There is no like,
Yeah.
can I just ask AI to do it for me? No, you can't.
Yeah.
You just got to do the work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's where the problem is for most people. Nobody wants to do the work, and it's a lot of work. Look, here you are, you know, grinding, doing a podcast and doing another podcast and doing another podcast, building your brand. It's like you're putting in the
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Then you got to work with your editing team to do shorts. Like, granted, you and I have bigger budgets than the average layman, and
Hmm.
we realize like the writing's on the wall. Our brand is imperative. We got to build this, and
Hmm.
this is how we're able to be on stages. This is how we're able to release books. This is how we're able to get in the rooms that we want to be in. But
Hmm.
the average Joe can still do this at a very low level, right from their home, from the comfort of
Yeah.
their home. My daughter's at 11. She's a better editor than any editor I can hire
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So kids realize this now, like adults should too.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
laughing, YouTubers making fun of them years ago. Now
yeah,
they all
which
want to
it,
be them.
that's it's funny. It's a bit of a side story, but in my personal life, in dating and whatnot, I guess it was interesting that someone looked at my face and like, isn't he a YouTuber? That's how they made a frame of reference, which was kind of funny. Because obviously we've been on YouTube for a while, doing both direct to camera teaching style things, podcasting, all kinds of stuff, which you're well aware of. What do you think is what? All right, so I know
I
you're working
I
on
want
some
to
new
add to that because
projects.
you just mentioned
Yeah.
dating, and I want to give you a real story about the dating world now, because the dating world's
Mhm.
more advanced than the business world.
Mhm.
When I got divorced and I was dating, if I was approached by someone on the date on an app or whatever, and they didn't have a social media profile, and they didn't have
Mhm.
like Instagram, they didn't have YouTube, they didn't have TikTok, they didn't have all the different things for me to
Mhm.
vet them, I immediately knew that that was not a real person. That was a
Oh wow.
scam. So
Yeah.
can you imagine someone making the biggest financial decision of their life, and they're like they can't vet them on all
Hmm.
these platforms?
Yeah.
Like, so it's already there. Like, being able to vet someone in the dating world via social platforms is already there, or they're a scam. It's
Hmm.
there now.
Yeah.
That is your
Yeah.
main utilization of, I would say like AI indexing is going to be even more imperative for the dating world, but that is the main utilization right now in the dating world. Like, if you're not on Instagram and you're in the dating world, like, you are a fake. You're like,
Yeah.
you're fake. You're not a real person. You're just there trying to like scam someone, or what
Yeah.
basically hustle them into some WhatsApp group, and then take their money, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's already there. So the dating world already has that there now, and it's imperative that you have that there. So in my space, whatever, any financial sector, it's a
Mhm.
mandatory if it's
Yeah.
already in the dating world.
Yeah.
And people are like laugh at me like, what do you mean? It's the dating world? Like, dude, this is you're just gonna go out on a date with someone. Someone's gonna give you their social security number and all their financial information. You don't think they
Hmm.
want to vet you on everything possible?
Yeah.
You don't think they want to ask
Yeah.
ChatGPT about you?
Yeah. It's really funny because I also know that there's private groups and all kinds of stuff, even in the social media world, Facebook private groups and, WhatsApp group, all these different types of things that center around making sure that the person you're quote unquote seeing is the person you're quote unquote seeing.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, have you dated this person? Have you done this thing kind of thing? And, you know, I, part of that makes sense and part of it's kind of disturbing at the same time, to be honest. But at the same time, that one of the biggest things in your life you've got to like get right. Well, get right to is a relative term, but that requires intentional diligence. Let's put it that way. Is your significant other,
Yep.
right? Being properly aligned. Because if you're not properly aligned, a whole host of other things can come off at the wheels. Versus being aligned, there's a whole growth curve you can have.
Right now, I think, because I talk about branding and I use that analogy all the time. Like the writing's on the wall for my industry that if people don't establish a personal brand the next 24 months, they're not going to be in the business.
Yeah.
That's it. And if they are in the business, then the people that have established a personal brand are just eating their lunch,
Yeah.
and it's a
That's
matter of
true.
time.
That's true. Well, what are you doing differently, or what do you see that's working for you differently that a lot of folks aren't seeing? Because I find that sometimes everything's pattern recognition, right? If you can find the right pattern, you can find the right flow. A lot of times you can model it or even improve it or innovate it. So, what's working for you that maybe other folks aren't getting right?
So this is my secret sauce. My main channel on Instagram generates about 20 to 30 million views a month, about 15,000 story views a month. So
Wow.
I treat so it's a television station effectively. It's actually more effective than television station because average TV channel gets 2 million views a month
Hmm.
and my channel gets 30 million views, but it doesn't get views, it gets engagement, meaning likes,
Hmm.
shares, follows. So people actually engage with it. So the efficacy of it is 10x of just a viewership, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so the idea for me is I'm not CEO on my channel. I'm basically just an entertainer. You come to me,
Okay.
you watch my channel, you are going to be entertained. You're going to laugh, you're going to relate, you're going to be like, I can't believe this guy's like in the streets doing this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And it's going to drive, curiosity. It's going to drive you to want to work with me. It's going to drive you to want to learn more about what we're doing.
Hmm.
It's going to drive you to want to buy my book, watch my podcast, whatever it is. So, you're getting 20, 30 million views a month, a bunch of hits on your profile. Like it's going to spark curiosity across all platforms. So the easiest way to think about it is your channel is your television station. Your
Hmm.
stories are your ads.
Okay.
So if you treat your channel like a TV station and your stories like an advertisement platform, then you'll understand because you don't go to Instagram to be bored. Like I don't post reels about the market volatility. I don't post
Hmm.
reels about, you know, CPI reports. I don't post reels about, what the Fed's going to do. What I
Yeah.
do is I post something to make you laugh, to make you relate, to drive 100,000 views on a video, and then you click, you go to my story, and then all of a sudden you're learning about the mortgage market, or
Hmm.
the housing market or whatever it is, and then
Yeah.
you could choose to go scroll right past it, or you could choose to watch it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not subjecting you via a reel to like force you to watch my content. I'm basically putting it on my story, and those who want to learn and educate themselves can stay on there and learn and educate themselves, and those who don't, they don't, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't impact my algorithm. I still drive tens of millions of views, and I learned that through so much cost and
Yeah.
spending. Like I spent a fortune to realize like the algorithm does not like this content. They like entertainment. They want me to be an
Hmm.
entertainer. Now I did create a new page where it doesn't have it's not viral.
Hmm.
Um, and it's called The Joe Shelby. It's not Joseph Shelby. It's The Joe Shelby. And all that is, I just launched it about a week and a half ago. It's just thought leadership stuff.
Hmm.
More of like the Alex Hermosi style
Yeah.
content. Um, and it's starting to get some engagement, some traction. But what it's doing is for me, for my personal brand, is it's centering my branding. So I'm not just an entertainer on Instagram. I have this like centered content
Hmm.
where I repurpose that content on LinkedIn and TikTok
Yeah,
and other channels of X, some of the more serious stage channels and platforms. So I have
yeah,
this more serious side of me on Instagram that you could choose to follow if you want. Like, I don't share the content. Sometimes I'll collaborate with it, but it brings it back to center and drives that seriousness of who I am as a thought
yeah.
leader.
It's so interesting. I never thought about doing that. I've always just had one channel, or well, essentially one profile per channel, right? TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, etc. I've never thought about trying to diversify a little bit. So, for example, one of the things I've heard recently, it's very similar to what I think you're saying, is like the apps want people to stay on the app, right?
Yeah.
So, what causes them to stay on the app? Well, if you follow the TikTok, Instagram flow and philosophy, YouTube Shorts, it's basically like you're saying, it's entertainment. Now, I would say that I'm not that entertaining, right? But at the same time,
But
if
you
I was,
are. But you are because you
yeah,
you have comedic, everybody likes to laugh and have fun. Everyone.
hmm,
So like you just identify what is it that makes you laugh and have fun. And really, like, I'm very good at just being on the streets and like and
yeah,
meeting new people and getting really uncomfortable and out of my shell.
yeah,
Um, that's not for everybody, but whatever it is that drives, you to laugh and have fun, like, and
hmm,
be relatable, make that your entertainment channel.
yeah. I just love that theology. I've never really thought about kind of using social platforms as straight up media venues for myself, like owning my own TV station, for example, like you mentioned. I've never seen it that way. And that's the subtle things I think sometimes for someone like yourself and other people that have it just, it's a niche that really molded well. It's something you understood very early on. Someone like myself, this is like it's a major aha. And I'm just wondering right now how many of the viewers and listeners are like, I'm not treating my social media like a media channel. I'm treating my like I'm I'm not really utilizing it that way.
Yeah,
And
no, it
just
took a lot of research to figure out, like, well, I don't need 100,000 views on this message. I just
Mhm.
need people that care, that actually like want to see my story to view it. So
Yeah.
I just need eyeballs you know, I'm um, you know, I'm basically like a view machine on my mid
Hmm.
channel.
Hmm.
So so I could drive traffic to anybody. Like I could advertise this show. 10, fifteen
Hmm.
thousand people are gonna know about this show automatically because I posted it on my
Yeah,
story.
that's true.
Like
Yeah.
that, which is great. The people that want to know are gonna watch it. So it's if you treat your channel like your channel like a TV station, and I put out some data points like what does a TV station actually generate a month? A
Hmm.
TV channel, 2 million views a month, just an average. A big channel generates like 20 million views, you know,
Hmm.
like a Fox or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you got 2 million to 20 million. I generate as much as freaking Fox TV. That's insane.
It
And
is
then
insane. Yeah.
and then
That's
what
wild.
then what do I pay Fox to advertise? To
Hmm.
get whatever who are going to click through that advertisement anyway or fast forward
Yeah. Yeah.
past it. It's the
Yeah.
same concept.
Yeah. Well,
Same concept.
I think the other thing, if you look at it from a business perspective, I think one of the things you did really well is you're already breaking down. It's okay. Well, if I treat my channel like more of a place of entertainment, but yet when I post a story or something like that, it does lead to it's almost like, you said kind of having your own ad, right? It
It is.
does. And it can produce business, right?
It definitely does produce business. And it can. And for me, I work with some of the biggest YouTubers. I was talking to one of the most famous YouTubers that and his target avatars are like 11 to 15. His name
Mhm.
is Asher. And he's like, dude, I'm generating 400 million views a month. And I was proud to say, I started a year and a half ago, and this guy makes $1 million every 5 months YouTubing. He does 400 million views a month. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm doing like 40 million views a month, and he's like, that's respectable. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
like here I
respectable.
am, like sitting with like, and that's not my job. That's not like what I want
Yeah.
to do. But like the fact that I'm even able to say that I'm like doing 40 million views
Hmm.
across all platforms with this guy who does this, and he's one of the most famous people on the planet.
Hmm.
That was kind of cool. That was enlightening to me. I'm like, wow, I've actually done it. I did it in a year and a half. I'm
Yeah.
sitting here with, you know, actually people who do this for a living, and I'm able to kind of like, have a respectable net figure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
So that's
reminded me
awesome.
of when I
Yeah.
was sitting with the CEO of a mortgage banker one time, and he's like, "Oh, I went to a conference, and all these guys were doing 100 million a month in volume,
Hmm.
and I was young. This was probably 12 years ago, and I was like, wow, $100 million a month in volume. That's unreal. I'll never get to like. I was thinking in my head, I'm like, how am I ever gonna get to $100 million a month in volume? Like
Hmm.
that's just incredible. And this was a CEO. He was one of my mentors, early on mentors, and he was just telling me about that. And then in my head, I was like, that's unreal. I'll never achieve that. I
Hmm.
didn't say I'll never achieve that. I said I'd love to achieve that one day. And then same thing. It was the same thing. Well, now we're doing about 500 million a month as a
Hmm.
company, 4 or 500 million a month. I'm doing 5x whatever I dreamed of doing
Yeah.
11 years ago. So
Yeah.
now, same concept. Like now the person's not a mentor. He's actually like a mentee of mine. But
Yeah.
like,
Hey, it
you know,
happens.
but
When a
I
teacher becomes a
respect him.
student.
Yeah, I respect him so much as a creator because he's one of the most famous creators on the planet, and he's very like wildly successful. And I like to have my kids hang out with this 19-year-old. My kids are 10 and 11. This 19-year-old's making seven figures, and they just get mentored and see him doing content,
Hmm.
um, and then put themselves on the same page because he's also a
Yeah.
kid, you
Yeah.
know, he's
Yeah.
also a kid. But I realize I'm like I can achieve this number if I get to 400 million views a month. Like,
Hmm.
I will dominate the mortgage market.
Yeah.
It would be inevitable. I'm already dominating the mortgage market now, 30, 40 million views. Once I get to 400 million views, I will be the biggest brand. I mean, I'm already the biggest personal brand in the mortgage industry, but I will
Yeah.
be by far like the superstar of the space. And I could see myself doing that in about a year and a half.
Yeah. Well, so it's not like you're too far away from it. What I think is
Hold
really
on.
interesting.
Can you pause it? The sound just went nuts.
So, all right. So so one of the things I think is very interesting right now that I've never heard someone who's playing at an entrepreneurial level the way you're playing at an entrepreneurial level even care about social media and brand growth. Like I think you're the only voice, especially in the mortgage industry, that's like, no,
I am, which
you've
is
got to get
shocking.
this. Yeah,
Yeah,
which is mind blowing, but at the same time, it's also an amazing voice for those that need
for
to
the space.
learn. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not in the real estate space. You got Ryan Serhant, you got Grant Cardone, you got
Hmm.
a ton of people in the space in the real estate space doing it now,
Yeah, yeah.
but not in the mortgage space because they're I don't know too good or too they think they sell a boring product, they can't do it or
Hmm.
whatever it is. There's a couple guys that have done it in the mortgage space and they understand it, but now it's more imperative than ever. And people are realizing it because I'm speaking about it. I
Yeah.
have a big voice in the space, and I'm
Hmm.
going around stage to stage, headlining conferences, talking about it. So,
Yeah.
it's starting to be like, oh yeah, we got to do it. Joe's doing it. He's growing,
Yeah.
and also being the CEO of the number one company in the state of California, top five mortgage company, and then being such a big voice already
Hmm.
helps, right?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. How much of this is mindset shift for you? I mean, at what point was it like an almost like an immediate aha that, oh, I gotta activate this. This is where the future's going.
No, the
Was
story's pretty funny how I started brand building. Um, there was a competitor. Okay, so I'm in a basketball league. We have a men's league on
Okay.
Thursdays, and our number one player at the time, I was trying to recruit him, but he was also my star player.
Hmm.
He was the number one personal brand in the mortgage industry. He's about a third the size I am,
Okay.
but he's also a big personal brand.
Hmm.
And I was dying to recruit him. I gave him a crazy offer, and he ended up saying, "You know what? I'm going to go to your competitor, not you."
Huh.
They gave him a better offer because my competitor always does that. I throw a crazy offer. They're like, "We'll give a even a better offer." I'm like, they're will, just like
Yeah.
they're willing to lose money.
Yeah.
And just to beat me on the offer.
Hmm.
So he ended up going to my competitor, and he was a big personal brand, which is fine. But what it did was, I'm like, you know what? He was my best basketball player on the team. Now we're gonna lose all our games because he was scoring like 30 or 40 of our points of our 70. You
Mhm.
know, I'm like, I can't beat him in basketball because he played professional basketball. I'm like, I'm not, and he was, he's decades younger than me or 15 years
Yeah.
younger than me. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to try to compete at an athletic level with someone like that, you know. But what it did do was like, I can't beat him in basketball, but I'm going to beat him in branding. I got more
Mhm.
resources. I'm willing to invest, and like, I'm a performer by nature anyway.
Yeah.
So I just started a quest. I just started on the quest of brand development then because I was like, it lit a fire under my butt that I'm gonna now get my butt kicked in basketball, and he went to my competitor
Mhm.
after I gave him a
Jeez.
ridiculous offer that I couldn't even that I was gonna get my butt kicked by my partner. He's gonna be like, "What did you just offer him?" He's the analytical guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I'm glad he didn't take it. I took
Oh,
the
man.
money that I would have gave him and just put it in my own brand.
Yeah. All right, let's I'm gonna break this down for a microsecond with a couple of minutes we got left. What is the number one thing people should start doing and number one thing people should stop doing when it relates to personal branding?
The number one thing people need to start doing is start creating content that isn't about their market. They need to do something that's relatable to the people,
Mm.
entertain the people, give the people what they want. Because if you're the most people, 99% of people are discouraged because, like, I was talking about, health insurance and nobody's watching my content. I was
Mhm.
talking about mortgages and nobody's watching my content. Like, would you watch that content? You on social
Yeah.
media to watch insurance content? Are you
Yeah.
on social media to watch health insurance or life insurance, whatever the heck
Yeah.
industry you're in? You're not on there to watch that.
Mhm.
That is boring. You're on there to laugh. You're on there to joke. You're on there to have fun. You're on there to escape. Do
Mhm.
something that hits those things. Make them
Mhm.
escape. Make them laugh. Make them relate. Make them have
Mhm.
fun. Make them want to stay on your channel. Period.
Yeah.
Don't talk
Yeah.
about your business. If you
Yeah.
want to talk about your business, put it on your stories.
Yeah. Jeez, man. I love it. All right. What's the number one thing that you should stop doing?
Stop doing content about your business. Stop doing
Yeah.
content about your business.
Yeah.
Start doing content about who you are and what makes you laugh and what makes you have fun. That's the easiest thing to stop doing. And then start posting. Start doing
Yeah.
content. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people need to just start getting out of your comfort zone, doing stuff like, man on the street content works really well. Always hits hard.
Yeah, yeah. I was just thinking too. I think when I just kind of reflect back on what you just shared, I think it comes down to one word. It comes down to authenticity. Like
Yeah.
be all of you, be the integrated version of you. Like
Be
be the
be
fun
the
loving
real
you.
you.
Yeah, yeah. Not
I have a
the
saying,
polished
see,
thing. Yeah,
be you, don't be mortgage you.
yeah,
Nobody cares about mortgage you. They care
yeah,
about the biker you, or they care about the, fitness you. They care about the whatever you. I don't know what it is that's you.
yeah. Well, dude, I've already enjoyed the conversation a whole lot. I can't wait for the audience to continue to learn more about you and everything you're cooking at. Where can I find out more about you as far as like where eventually because they need to come hear you speak. They need to grab a couple of the books and they
Yeah.
need to be taking the steps towards what you're teaching because AI is moving the needle, AI indexing is moving the needle. You're moving the needle in your industry, and they could be moving the needle in their industry. And I'd love for them to learn more about you and kind of connect with you again.
Easiest way to find me is Joseph Shalby on all platforms. My name, Joseph Shalby, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If you want to learn more about my book, pick up my book, Rising from the Sand. You can buy it at risingfromthesand.com or anywhere you buy your books, Amazon, etc. Risingfromthesand.com. And then just follow me, Joseph Shalaby. And if you find me on Instagram, you'll see I only follow three things. I follow eMortgage Capital, I follow Coffees for Closers, and I follow the Joe Shalaby. Follow all
Yeah.
those three.
Love it, dude. Dude, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate you and look forward to more conversations.
Hey, it was a pleasure to be on the show. God bless you.
Likewise. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that amazing conversation. And if you want more just like that to help you level up your life and your business, you're not going to miss this next one. Check it out.
And it was in that moment that my life changed. In that moment that I realized that I wasn't going to listen. I made up my mind right then and there that I was not going to let someone else's perception of my capabilities become my reality.